Week 2 here at Frank's Retirement Home is coming to a close, but not before this one final Walker Division set that we have for you guys today. Vibe Tribe versus Killer Kappas. Playing it out. I'm Zach Vexel. Joined with me today is Ruler of Men. How we doing?
Doing all right, doing all right. Fancy seeing you here again.
Always is. So we see a
Already
couple
starting.
bands coming out already with the Athena. No surprise. We love this global pressure support. She sees her fair share of play. I'm pretty sure we've had a very solid, almost 100% pick band rate with this god. Same thing with
Something
our
like that.
Chernobog.
Yeah. Definitely some really strong gods, but some less banned gods that we're seeing banned out here with the Danza and the Baka. Danza again just really sees good results, especially at this level. Just so much burst damage comes out of his abilities. Then you land a couple autos, they're done. So definitely probably a target ban there.
I am definitely a Baka enthusiast when it comes down to it. Probably one of your better scaling assassins for that aspect. And then here we see one of the better early game assassins with the Pele getting banned over on the side of the Vibe Tribe. And then it's followed up with a very swift early game ADC pick with this Izanami on the side of the Killer Kappas. A lot of clear on those two gods, a lot of potential to just shove it down in that pressure aspect. And we see a Sun Wukong get locked in over on the side of Vibe Tribe right away. A safe pick, a warrior who isn't always too far forward, has his own safety net, gets up in the ult, gets away. What are you going to do? Birds away.
Yeah, definitely one of those warriors that's never going to have too much of a bad time into any matchup. Just so much safety coming out of the ultimate, out of the bird, out of the ox. Just so many tools at his disposal to not only get in there, but get out of there.
Yeah, now we do see this pick tend to kind of swing the other direction, which we did see earlier last week. If these mage solos start showing up over there, you have a pick who is sort of safe when he's facing another warrior, but the second you put him against a squishy target, okay, well now, congrats, we're writing it down. Now I want to shove it down your throat, and it really changes up how this pick's entire playstyle really is. So I'm wondering if the Killer Kappas are going to play into that and end up honestly giving themselves a little bit of a struggle in the early game in that lane, or if they're going to look at the solo lane, say, okay, that's not a lane that we can really outright win, but let's make sure it's not a lane we can outright lose. Pick a warrior into it who can apply the pressure and do the same thing over there, maybe neutralize that lane and focus our attention somewhere else on the map as we see this Ganesh get locked in alongside the Mulan, and it looks like they are probably thinking just that, unless that Mulan goes in the jungle.
Yeah, definitely love the Ganesha pick. Just always so much value comes out of the Ohm, comes out of the pillars. Just so much team fight potential coming out of the support there. And Mulan, you were talking about run it down. Sun Wukong is going to get ran down. Mulan early game is just such a menace. Has the healing, has the extra damage, ranks up those abilities, gets those extra bonuses. It's going to be tough to deal with in the early game.
This is probably one of our best early game warriors, somebody who can just apply significant amount of damage, and when she's doing that, all the while leveling up your abilities, like you said, not to mention the cooldown reduction on her first ability cast every 10-12 seconds around there. You are reducing your ability cooldowns, you're getting in there, and then you have the warrior passive on top of it, which is more cooldown reduction. This god has really seen, I want to say, some sleeper play over the time period. And when she is picked, I always do love it. And it's very exciting. Being able to trap people in with this Ganesha and then burn them down with the Mulan is going to be fun. We see a Daji get locked in over on the side of Vibe Tribe. Now, I think this is a very solid pick to counteract the Ganesha. If the Vibe Tribe can utilize the early game potential of this pick, and Daji's more of your scaling type in that aspect, but if they can utilize the early potential from her ultimate, now we can probably see this Ganesha getting picked off left and right, and because I do see this as a very strong pick god. Cyrodiil's getting locked in at the end for the Vibe Tribe in their ADC slot. Had a lot of favor a couple months ago, fell off quite a little bit, but isn't too far off from being a solid ADC pick.
Yeah, he's definitely still strong. His dash just does so much damage. He's got the slight cleave autos and melee range. Just a lot of tools. Just doesn't have that CC immune ult, so he does kind of fall off just a little bit. And Bastet, another assassin that's looking for those picks, has the big grab coming out of the ultimate. So definitely, if we can see a couple of those on the mark, we could see a lot of big successes in those team fights. Just picking out a CERN who doesn't have that CC immune ultimate could absolutely change a fight.
One thing I love about Cernanos, and I do it all the time when I play Cern in the jungle because I'm your off-rolling menace who just picks things wherever he feels like it. The auto attack cancel from a hunter, where you can auto dash cancel auto, dealing damage with the dash, getting a double crit. People don't see it coming when you land it, and it is beautiful. All right. We see a couple bands get finished out over here. The Morgan Le Fay, very strong solo lane mage pick. If that Mulan does end up going towards the jungle. Also, still just a very strong mid pick. Ixchel also rounding out the bands over on the side of Vibe Tribe. We see Ares and Raijin over on the side of Killer Kappas. Ares a good pressure kind of support who can utilize the fact that Cernanos doesn't have the beads. Powering through these picks, we have the on her over on the side of Killer Kappas. Someone who says, I want to box in lane, I want to fight in lane, and if you're not going to have beads, well, I'm definitely going to take advantage of that with myself and my Bastet. Baba Yaga and Nox getting finished off over on the Vibe Tribe side. If they do tend to lock this in, that could spell a lot in terms of scaling on the side of the Vibe Tribe. You know, you got this Baba Yaga who just gets up in the ultimate and is just dealing damage, is super tanky over the top of it. You really got to have something that can shred her down, burst her down. I don't really think this on her is going to be too capable of doing it, per se. But if the Killer Kappas can shred down in their lane with the on her, the Bastet playing over through the dual lane side, well, now things are going to be a little bit different. But because we do see this Anubis get finished out for the draft on the side of the Killer Kappas, now this is something that I can see in the mid to late game shredding down a Baba Yaga.
Yeah, shredding down just about anything you put in front of him, really. That death gaze, in fact, spells your death. Definitely a tough one to deal with. And I do love that in support, we have the Battle of the Silences. What annoying silence are are you going to get hit by? Is it a Nox bubble? Is it Ohm?
He took my annoying silence god. Well, I guess we'll take two of our own. One of them being a little bit more RNG with this Baba Yaga ability is honestly a god who I always struggled playing because of. Okay, so my kit isn't definite. No. Okay, so I could maybe throw a significant amount of damage in one pot, or I could maybe silence them, or it could just like fly off in a 45-degree angle to the left, you know, kind of unpredictable sometimes, and could work out in the
Yeah.
favor for a person who understands the kit very well, and definitely hurts on the other side when you're not expecting what's coming next.
Yeah, definitely the volatility of Baba Yaga is is tough to deal with. Is she throwing a Y that's going to silence? Is she throwing a 90-degree that's going to slow? Is she throwing a 5 red pot at me for, instead of 1200 damage, it's doing 1600 damage? It's just the possibilities are endless. It's so hard to like get your mental math right around the god.
Good
Oh
Baba
yeah, I'm
Yaga.
doing like 800 damage. Oh, that one did 1200. Oops.
Yeah, good Baba Yaga characters tend to be quite the frustration. I know when we were always playing back during her prime time a couple months ago. Congrats, you have this big tanky nuisance because nobody's building her like a proper mage. They're throwing all those tank items on her, your breastplates of valor, your, anything to just be a hybriding.
Breastplate of
Yeah,
Valor,
breastplate of
prophetic,
valor. Oh, wait,
just
here are
whatever.
passive stacks items. Okay, cool. Well, let's throw prophetic on there. That's difficult to stack, and she won't have an issue.
And don't worry, she'll still 1v1 you with, 2 defense items. Haha.
1v1 you, 1v5 you, something like that. Yeah,
Something like that, something like
something
that.
like.
It depends on how close you get, and, how many pools you decide to eat.
How much you make her panic and get into that ultimate. This Anubis might be able to work out in the favor of that if she looks for a little dash away or something and gets caught in a wrap. Could get melted down before she even has a chance to get into that ultimate. We're going to move on in here to game number 1, Vibe Tribe versus Killer Kappas. Let's see where some of these picks are starting to wind on up.
Yeah, looking like we're seeing everything go pretty standard. Everybody kind of in the roles you would predict, you know. Warriors in the solo lane, assassins in the jungle, etc., etc.
Or I'll get my spicy picks game soon. I can feel it. Or I have like the Nox ADC and the CERN jungle and Anubis over in the jungle as well.
I
I'm
do gotta respect a certain jungle.
oh,
He's my second favorite hunter jungle.
you throw hydras on him, you throw some crit on him, start off with a trans, just let the first couple
Mhm.
levels do its thing, but once you do get those items online, ooh, let me tell you, you just blink on top of somebody, auto 2 auto 3 dash cancel auto, and then all of a sudden they're like, where did my HP bar go? Why am I being one shot faster than a normal assassin even would?
Yeah, definitely. I just love Danza in the jungle. You just
Danza.
you just ult in, you
Ooh,
throw
that
your
wasn't the one
one
I
for
expected.
800 damage. They're gone. They don't even know what happened to them. Apollo's too mainstream for me.
All the Sumains, yeah, that's fair.
Apollo's too mainstream. He goes number 3.
The other one I've been doing recently has been like Chernobog when he makes it through. Just having that global ult, being able to move around and land on top of people, utilizing it constantly for quick map rotations. You're getting a lot of poke over here by these camps on our mid lane or Baba Yaga. Eating just a bit too much damage as we're moving into mid lane, but I'm sure she'll heal that up just fine. We're back with game number 1 Vibe Tribe versus Killer Kappas. Thank you for taking on the way as we see our junglers and mids going up here in mid lane. First clear buffs, nothing too surprising. Daji going on in, getting a little bit of poke damage off, maybe getting a little bit more. Not too much more off of that, but definitely some good poke. It's going to force this Bastet to play a lot safer now coming into the next waves.
Yeah, definitely. Realistically, that gives them their option of which mid camp they want to go to after this wave. Let's see what they choose, whether or not we're looking at that solo side, duo side.
Yeah, you need to definitely respect which side gets the advantage in the clear. Daji down a couple pots, but back full health. We might see a little bit of a skirmish though going on over here for this mid side camp. Gonna be a little difficult for the side of the Killer Cap. Actually, for the side of the Vibe Tribe, if they can lock down one target, I'm pretty sure this Anubis can just absolutely shred them. He is still level 2, though.
Yeah, Anubis without all 3 abilities, not going to do quite as much damage as you might like, but at the very least we get the wave cleared up. We're going to go ahead and grab those right mids instead. Does leave Bastet open to go ahead and rotate to that shield camp. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, Anubis misses, I think it was 2 minions.
better than, I guess, standing there staring at each other for the next couple minutes and nobody hitting level 3, level 4. Let's clear up this, shove the wave in a little bit, and just go and get some farm online as we see jungles moving to opposite ends of the map, clearing these side camps, these side experience camps, and then moving on in. Nothing too surprising so far. Nothing too spicy, as I would say.
Nope. Do see the invade coming out though, coming out from this Daji says, I'll give you some help. I'll get that yellow mass spawning for you nice and early as I take away some of that farm.
I've been one myself to sit there and go for that. And at first I was like, okay, it's just another camp. Then I realized, if they're watching their map, they know I'm here. Good grab, forcing the Baba Yaga into the beads. Gets away. Not too much of an issue, but this Goobus can just play at this tower line now. At least so long as Daji doesn't come around. But yeah, like I was saying, I noticed, okay, the color on the map just changed. Somebody just went over at my back camps. Let's catch them out, maybe. It's a free ward if you're paying attention to your map. So what I've also been doing too, since it does push along their camps on that side, clear off 2 of the minions and just walk away.
Just leave the big harpy.
Yeah, leave that one camp and say, okay, good luck, have fun. I'll get my little bit and delay your farm, yeah. It's honestly more of a mental thing at that point when the jungle comes over and they're like, oh, they were here. And they didn't finish the camp. How rude.
The worst thing is like halting their mask progression because they're gonna wait so long on that next respawn because they haven't cleared it yet. So could definitely maybe get a little bit of mind games going with having masks that they don't.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if that invading those back camps early really does a whole lot. A little bit of poke coming out over here in the duel lane. Ganesha with the dash in on the Nox. Little low on mana on her end, but Ganesha a little bit low on health as a result of that. Both teams just going to clear up the wave and be a little bit happy. Little skirmish going on in the mid lane. A blink in from the Bastet, followed up with a Goobus ultimate, and it looks like they will shred him down for the first blood. Baba Yaga. Get that critter? Well, you kind of got, so. And we're back with game number 1, Vibe Tribe versus Killer Kappas. Just after a successful gank in the mid lane, picking off for Baba Yaga, who is deciding not to go for... Alex, you're a little low on mana, honey. You're a lot low on mana, honey. I don't know if you can do that one as you get caught in the Bastet ult into the Ganesha ult. Yeah, that silence ain't gonna do you too much as you're falling down. Second kill going in the way of Killer Kappas. I'd be careful about where we're dashing in.
Yeah, definitely. Nox goes to contest the shield camp and unfortunately just runs into a Huntress of Bast and a Dharmic Pillars to just lose that health bar so fast.
Oh yeah. I swear, paying attention to, you know, your map awareness, that kind of stuff. And
oh god, that's it. That's
speaking
over.
of, speaking of the devil,
No!
gets away 1 HP.
That
Very
hurt.
unfortunate. Didn't have that ultimate to be able to secure the kill. Ends up using the beads. He will have his ultimate shortly though if that Daji does want to commit anything. So might have to play a little bit safe for the next couple minutes until he gets his beads back up and keep that ultimate on hand in case she goes for hers.
Yeah, uses it to immune the slow, but don't think you necessarily needed it. I think, you know, you just wait for your cooldowns to come up and then you just fight the Daji too.
Speaking of, don't think I necessarily needed that. Sun Wukong popping the ultimate over here in the solo lane. Probably just getting a little bit of health back, you know, wanting to clear up this wave without being too poked out and getting walled off. Goobus getting collapsed on here in the mid lane as we see the Daji getting absolutely rooted in place and melted by the Goobus ult. Didn't make it up in the ultimate in time. Shell gets popped down the side of Killer Kappas as they are just continuing their onslaught, marching it forward down the mid lane. A lot of poke coming out over on the side of the Vibe Tribe. But it looks like Killer Kappas are happy with their pick. They're going to back off and secure some of this neutral farm away.
Yeah, still a little bit of a skirmish going on in mid, but nothing really going to come out of it. And that is the danger of playing into an Anubis. They don't have mobility, so what does he have? Way too much damage. If you're in melee range of him, you're in danger, not him.
Oh, absolutely. And you're playing into Anubis too, who already has this for full item Bancrofts online. You know, congrats. There's my power spike. I'm done. The game's over. What are you gonna do? Gets another wrap off on the Nox, who needs to realize she's still a mage for the next couple minutes. Good root in place is gonna pull that Goobus in. Might see a little bit of a shutdown here. Unfortunately, dashed a little bit too far away, but is able to close the gap, get the kill on 1, gets the kill on 2, double kill for the jungle of the Vibe Tribe. Unfortunately, losing their mid laner in the process. 2 for 1.
Yeah, I mean, after all is said and done, I want to say that's a 2 for 2, so definitely not too bad coming out of there. Daji comes back, gets them on the board, and pretty much evens this game up. We're only looking at about 500-600 of a gold differential.
He did get the shutdown too. We see the pick coming out over here by Vibe Tribe on the Killer Kappas. That's just some Bastet dot damage early in the game. Already feeling the burn, but is she going to be able to make it away with her life? She is running away from those pools of Baba Yaga, and it looks like the solo laner from the Vibe Tribe is going to rotate on in. Sun Wukong end up getting the final hit on her, and it looks like Killer Kappas isn't too happy because they rotate their solo lane as well.
Yeah, what an absolute brawl over here in the back camps.
Hey,
So
Warriors,
many
can you go
members
back to your lane, please?
No, I have to fight you in your
The
back camp.
squishies are not having a good time, yeah?
Just a nice back and forth game though. Still looking at that, you know, 500-600 gold difference. Nothing too crazy coming out just yet.
Nothing too crazy. We just saw some solo laners out of red buff at 8 minutes.
Yeah, but
Nice.
but that's fair because everybody rotated, you know.
That's fair,
It,
yeah.
it wasn't just like one solo just came out of nowhere. They both came out of nowhere.
Yeah. They still were able to secure away their red buff too. That's the best part. So, just a couple picks going back and forth on the way of both members. A little bit of poke out over on the side of the Vibe Tribe. They're gonna have to play a little safe. Nox may be caught out, get silenced out, might just end up eating some poke. You're a mage, but you know, you already got that Thebes online. You got it stacked up to 42 stacks, and it looks like you're building into this prophetic cloak after the fact too. Gonna be interesting to see her try to stack that one up.
Yeah, definitely easier for her than most Guardians, you know, does have the ranged autos. Starting using those beads, making sure he's not going to go ahead and fall down to that Bastet. As we see some support fighting, Bastet on the way to come help deal with the knocks. Good root comes out, silence on the mark, Huntress of Bast landed but not quite enough as we see a solo rotation coming out. TP is used.
Solo laners, go home. Stop it. Stop it.
All right, do we see the Mulan counter TP?
You would think so, but now that you've rotated over your Sun Wukong, the thought is Gold Fury, right? You know, you have Mulan just teleports back over in the lane, so Daji's pressuring the lane on this side. The Sun Wukong rotation, though, what is it going to be worth?
Yeah, it's not looking like it's going to do too much there. Not going to really get anything done. Just going to have to go slowly walk back to lane. Anubis hitting him with the wrap just for good measure. Hey, buddy, you're going to have to miss out on some minions. I'm sorry.
Showed him, hey, I know you're here. You're not sneaking up on me anytime soon.
That's it. I'm terrified of an Anubis that's hitting wraps for fun. He didn't even try to throw damage at it.
Nah, you don't have to. Speaking of didn't even try to throw damage, getting a little bit scared. Get that critter. Ate a few too many wraps in the early game and ate that one. He's like, yeah, not a chance. You're just gonna kill me with that ultimate that I know you have ready.
Yeah, I mean that's always the threat of Anubis. Is that wrap going to be followed up? Does he have his buttons? Or am I going to beads and he's just gonna look at me with a goofy smile on his face?
Do that little dance that he was doing before minions spawned. Beautiful pick over here. Able to secure a little bit of poke and maybe set up for a blue buff invade. Killer Kappas are getting ready. I think they know that timer. And it looks like they do.
Yeah, gonna go ahead, steal away that blue buff, and they should be in position to go ahead and rotate for this beacon.
Yeah, still got 30 seconds out until the first beacon spawn, and Sun Wukong's kind of feeling the burn of that rotation not too long ago.
Yeah, it doesn't have the TP available. Already pretty low on health, so if Crouton Crusader decides to rotate over to that beacon, there's not much that Izakor can do about it.
I think what's going to be good if Izakor can just back right now, bird straight down the mid lane, be here on time for this beacon, might be able to help out his team, get a little of a thing going on here. Maybe you make it a 4v3 before ADCs or your solo lane counterpart decides to show up themselves. But it looks like he's not going to even do that. Crouton Crusader,
relax. Nobody's that worried about it. Starting to see some grouping come out of it from Vibe Tribe, but Killer Kappas is like, we're 2k up. We're fine.
Vibe Tribe ended up taking away that first beacon for absolutely free. Killer Kappas trying to get out, wanting a little bit more. Daji, you can't fire those while the Goobers is still CC immune on. I'm sorry. He's not going to be pulled at all then.
I mean, it still cleanses. If you get any CC immunity, it's not like an Ares chain where you have to be glowing yellow. As soon as you get that CC immunity, it cleanses, so.
All right. She's unable to pull him then, so you're just dealing damage.
Yeah, you just gotta do your best, you know? Try to fight an Anubis that's just going to heal anything you deal.
I guess she isn't too worried with 30% CDR online already. You know, she's been making decent use of this ultimate. I think I just want to see it a little bit more on who she's going for, you know? Try to find her priority target. And in this instance, you know, who is it? I would say probably getting that Ganesha out, but it's starting to get into this mid-game. Picking that support's not going to be as easy. She doesn't have too much penetration. I mean, well, flat pen, a little bit of... It doesn't have too much power, I should say.
Yeah, not the most power-filled items, but, you know, a little bit of flat pen, a little bit of percent pen. Looking into probably more flat pen with a brawlers.
Might help her out. Although, Vibe Tribe's got to be a little worried that Killer Kappas is just going to walk over and start taking these objectives with the Pyromancer spawning in. Gold Fury's up over here. You know, your Anubis has full
probably
Bancrofts, he's got full Magus. Zuzi, Mulan just doing warrior brain things, coming into these back camps, trying to steal the way. Successfully taking away a camp, looking for a little bit more. Bastet landing a very nice Root on the Daji and ends up securing the kill. Wanting more, sends out the ultimate, hits the Sun Wukong, pulling him right back in. She's gonna dot him right down. Shell comes out. Shell's not enough as the two members of the Killer Kappas are marching into the tier 2 on the side of the Vibe Tribe. This is opening up the Pyromancer very nicely for them.
Yeah, definitely good on the Killer Kappas to recognize where they have their lead. A lot of their lead is sitting on this Mulan and Bastet, so they play over in that solo side. They get some picks and they immediately go to the closest objective, being that Pyromancer. Just great play.
Look how quickly that lead has scaled on the side of the solo lane, okay? And I want to say it started from that rotation from the Sun Wukong. You know, at that time, it was about a half a level to a level. Now it's up to 3 levels. And then a Pyromancer getting taken away to boot. 4K lead getting pushed in here by the Killer Kappas at the 15-minute mark. That just happened really quickly.
Yeah, it happened so fast. It's a 500, 600 lead, then all of a sudden you look away, it's 2,000. Now we're looking at about 4,500. It's just snowballing so quickly, and it's not even a high kill game.
Killer Kappas are definitely playing their leads to their advantage, like you said, and maybe getting a little bit of wards up over here, continuing this objective onslaught. The Sun Wukong does end up rotating in. Beautiful shell on the Ganesh over here. I dare he just landing it, but it's unfortunately not enough. Dot from these assassins on the side of both teams is really putting in work. 4-member grouping over here at the green buff of Killer Kappas, and it looks like Noxiox is going to get away with his life.
Yeah, they get the one pick, but this Mulan just comes in so big, going to be able to stop any sort of ideas of going to this Gold Fury. Just absolutely puts a ton of damage into Baba, into the Sun Wukong, not playing any games.
Yeah, Crouton Crusader saying, yeah, I have a lead. I'm going to swing it around and show you exactly what it's made for. You guys aren't going to close this gap by getting this Gold Fury. And, you know, maybe I'll just threaten your Cernanos over here, sitting a little up without a tower, and just being an absolute wall. Fighting 3 members of the Vibe Tribe, ulting away.
I think he could have taken him.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mulan versus
doubt.
3 there is a close one, but a 1-1.
She's got Soul Leader, she's got defense of both types. One of them being a Nodi Hunter's Garb, you know, increasing her procs against all 3 members standing there if she just exists.
Oh yeah, enemies are nearby him, just give me some mitigations.
Yeah.
Why not? As we see a massive grouping, all 10 members here for the Gold Fury. Beacon also coming soon.
5v5, Daji goes up and the ultimate ends up grabbing that Ganesh. This is what we were talking about, but Mulan ends up grabbing Zakior on the Sun Wukong, gets collapsed on by the Anubis ult. Double kill for Nodsox as he's running him down. Dashed away from Anox. And Cernanos Dipspit able to secure the Mulan, but man, just pulling these members right back in is a beautiful grab and a beautiful finish by Bastet. Not a big deal. Yeah, that wasn't a big deal. We're gonna go over and get the Gold Fury.
Yeah, they do lose their big solo laner, but they do grab 3. They grab the Gold Fury, and you can't feel bad about that. Do gotta love the build coming out from Dipspit though. It says, oh, their solo laner's big. Instead of getting like an Xe, I'm gonna get pins. I'm just going to get that pen.
Oh, right. Good recognition from Dipspit. Seeing, okay, you know, maybe somebody's gonna trail back in here all by themselves, and sure enough, Notsox walking in by himself a little bit alone, ends up getting bursted down by this level 17 Cernanos.
Yeah, just so much damage comes out. Cern just hits so incredibly hard. You sit in the summer stance, or you even, you know, hit the autumn into a summer stance. All of a sudden, you're like, huh? He don't even have items. What do you mean he's hitting that hard?
You know, we're talking about this lead on the side of the Killer Kappas, but when you really look down to it, okay, you got a level 17 Bastet. Okay, well, we got a level 17 Cernanos over here. Our ADC 17, your ADC 17, you know, our mage is 16. The level disparity isn't too far off in your DPS roles.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a crazy lead. A lot of it is on that dive, though, as this Bastet picks up yet another kill, as we see, ooh, an unfortunate miss on the Huntress of Bast, but not gonna matter. Gonna go ahead, rip that tower down, and look for some more.
Tier 1 tower falling in the solo lane, and 4 members of the Killer Kappas about to be moving about in this solo side jungle, looking towards the Pyromancer, but not before they look towards a Nox who just happens to get her dash off and goes right back in. Canceled it might be a little too soon, and Zakor finds himself on the wrong end of the stick, eating every ability from the members of Killer Kappas. Ends up picking up a double kill by dropping that ultimate over on the Tiny Giant on the back end.
Yeah, Dipspit for Loot also forced to use that Aegis, and that should be yet another free Pyromancer after they grab those 2 picks. And on the other side of the map, we see Onhair saying, "Oh hey, CERN, you're in right jungle? I'm gonna take your tower."
Yeah, if your lane opponent's just not going to show up, might as well just get that farm, get that push, and take literally everything in his path. Hey, you missed the buff. There you go, bud. Hopefully he doesn't get caught out as a result, because it looks like Daji is on the hunt and doesn't see him.
Daji's on the hunt, but 3 levels down. I don't know if that's necessarily a fight she wins.
Yeah, you kind of dash on him, and if he knows any which way that you're coming from, ends up impaling you into a wall, and then you just regret all your life decisions.
You ult him, he ults you. just not a great fight for the Daji there.
Yeah. Pyromancer ends up going down in favor of the Killer Kappas, and a lot of cleanup getting done over in the jungle. See a little bit of a grouping over here from the Vibe Tribe over in the mid lane. Notsuck's gotta watch himself. Ends up using the beads to get himself away. A little worried about the combo coming out from the Nox with a little bit of follow-up, and unfortunately was not able to get it.
Yeah, still is able to grab those beads, and as an Anubis you have to be scared. If I get CC'd for 2 seconds and somebody walks at me, I'm just done. If I can't just out damage and out heal them, it's over.
Daji, I think, needs to now take advantage of the fact that the Anubis doesn't have the beads. And Anubis doesn't have the ultimate since he just dumped it on Get That Critter yet again and just burned him away. We do see a fight going on over here. Daji ends up grabbing one. Beads come out from not a big deal. They pull the Ganesh on in, but you don't have any DPS characters nearby. You're not going to be able to secure a kill on this target. 5 members strong by Killer Kappas there, marching through this dual side jungle. Eyes fixated on the Xerdanos, ends up getting impaled away. Very unfortunate synergy right there, and he gets away with his life, but the Tiny Giant maybe stuck around a little bit too long.
If you can't get gold, you might as well get silver. They pick up their consolation prize, Tiny Giant, doing his best to get Dipspit out, and he does manage to.
And it's okay, they got gold too.
Yeah, this is just great play from the Kappas. Just doing everything they can. They're grouping properly. They're taking good fights. Just the way that they're rotating as a team, I'm really liking. They're just saying,
getting in there.
we're ahead. We're just gonna fight you.
Oh yeah, they're getting in there, doing the fight well, grouping up together, and look at the ward vision on top of it. Making sure they get the objective. Okay, we got what we needed. Let's not stick around. Move on to the next one. Try to really just bring this lead up as we see it start to approach the 8K mark here at the 22 minutes. Before this last weekend.
Yeah, looking at that 8K mark. Dipspit for Lube forced to use those beads, gets hit by a wrath into the death gaze. As we see a big team fight coming out. Baba ult used already.
Yeah, spread out a little bit with those flames coming out. Never something that you want to eat. Very nice grab on the Mulan and another impale away. Mulan, oh, it's coming through. Crouton Crusader diving into this tier 1 tower, and it is a tier 1 tower indeed, so she's going to be able to tank this up. Shell ends up coming out, and they do end up getting a pick, and this tier 1 tower is starting to fall down. Dashi goes up in the air, grabs chain 1, and is able to pull it in, but still, again, no follow-up damage. Very unfortunate. Notsuck says, all right, well, you're going to pull me in. Well, I'll make sure to get a grab up on top of it. Ganesha dashing in, grabs, gets that critter, and on her, Kalo ends up securing the kill. Tier 2 tower now has the site, but it's Ziso ends up securing the kill on this. And it looks like Killer Kappas are now on the back foot, biting off a little bit more than they could chew on this tier 2 tower dive.
Yeah, definitely going to struggle a little bit diving that tier 2, but they come back for it. Ooh, unfortunate off the mark on the Vast Ult. Will save Dipspit's life, and that's tough. That one hurts.
Yeah, you know, that's very unfortunate. Very lucky for Dipspit to be able to get away with his life right there. He's going to be able to heal back up, get a little bit more farm, maybe finish off some of these items, because these next Fire Giant fights are going to be essential for these two teams.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely going to be a defensive game coming out of the Vibe Tribe, at least for now. Down, but certainly not out, sitting at, that's what, 7,500 gold? A little bit better since before that fight.
Not bad. So, you know, sitting at this 7k, 7,500, like you were saying, this is a very contestable Fire Giant. I think whichever team gets the Ward Vision up, groups better, gets their picks correctly, is going to be the one who comes out. It's anybody's Fire Giant right now, you know? But we do see two members of the Vibe Tribe over pushing this dual lane, you know?
Yeah, definitely could get some value out of that. If all they lose is a Pyre, that's not too big of a deal, but with Killer Kappas seeing them on those minions, I would love to see them just kind of look for this fight a little bit harder. You know it's a 3v5, you know you have the resources.
Killer Kappas secure the Pyromancer off the back of the Goobus ult, and it looks like the two members of Vibe Tribe are going to keep shoving it down the dual lane, recognizing that Killer Kappas are taking this fight as hard as they are. On her jumps in, on her kills one, chasing down, beautiful impale into a wall this time, and ends up picking up the Tiny Giant as well. And it looks like Killer Kappas are chasing down the members of Vibe Tribe, wanting to get the cleanup over here. Now they might just shove it down mid lane themselves. You know what? You're going to get our Phoenix over in the dual lane. And they do just that.
Yeah, they do trade out the better Phoenix. And it looks like, yeah, Killer Kappas don't really have the energy in the tank to go ahead and knock down that mid bird, so that's just a great play from Vibe Tribe. Izakor just kind of keeps delaying. They can't back. You take that Phoenix, but fortunately it looks like it will lose them the FG.
Great recognition though. Vibe Tribe, they're like, okay, we're not going to be able to rotate over there. We're not going to be able to defend this Fire Giant with you guys. Maybe if you play it a little bit safer, but, you know, Killer Kappas just had a great offensive there. You know, they recognized the two members were still sitting over in dual lane, pushed in there, got the 3 picks, were able to secure the Fire Giant, but you realize you're trading a basic FG for Phoenix, and your dual lane Phoenix at that. Vibe Tribe, in my opinion, came out a little bit ahead on that, being able to have the pressure on the dual lane side of the map, have those fire minions pushing down there, because now Killer Kappas might just only be able to clear up some tier 2 towers with this and get that gold lead a little ahead. Meanwhile, Firemins are going to be pouring down the dual lane this entire time.
Yeah, definitely going to be having to deal with those, and that certainly is going to put a little bit of a damper on what they want, but Vibe Tribe probably not going to be able to get too much done, just kind of a waiting move. However, we do see a big grouping over in the right lane, looking to maybe knock down this second to last tower.
Well, you got fire minions all the way at the duo side Phoenix. Those are automatic pressure right there. You recognize Donner's over there, TP coming through over here from the Killer Kappas, Crouton Crusader. And the members of Vibe Tribe are like, okay, you guys are responding to our push right here. We're going to get out of here.
Okay, you guys have Fire Giant. I get it. I'll back off. That's my bad.
I didn't mean it. No. Now it sucks. Finding himself a little bit caught out right here as he's getting collapsed on by two members of the Vibe Tribe, but showing them that I am Anubis. I have Fire Giants. I have Lifesteal. Look at the healing coming out of this pick, and his team is here to come and save him. Dash coming out from Izakor. Ends up still getting caught by that Bastet root. Nox, the Tiny Giant, able to silence him away and get that save. Anubis is back to full health, by the way. Instantly. Get that critter. Gets Dairy. And the onslaught of Killer Kappas is slowed down again.
Yeah, unfortunate for Itaixa, just not quite able to get Seox. Just so close, just not quite enough. Death Gaze just rips through the health bar. Triple lifesteal, my bad. Gets him just
Let's
enough
be
health to
honest.
survive.
You see the Mulan here with Soul Eater, okay? She has an 8 lifesteal. She has a Soul Eater on top of it. You have an Anubis over here who has just got Vamp Shroud, Bancrofts, Spear of the Magus, Typhons, all lifesteal items right there. Okay. You have an Anhur over there who's building into the... He's got the Devo's Gauntlet. Where is your anti-heal? You know, you have it on the members of your Baba Yaga. You have it on the members of your Sun Wukong, but nobody who's really there to apply. If you want to deal the damage, I think we need to opt for maybe a Brawler's Beat Stick in the slot.
Yeah, definitely. I really would have loved to see it. It's Isa just grab that beat stick. I was really hoping it went into that spot instead of the crusher. You know, Mulan has the soul leader. Best has the soul leader. Anubis with 4 lifesteal items. It's just you need so much anti-heal. I wouldn't have even minded an Ankh on the Nox. We do see it on the Sun Wukong though.
Well, yeah. That's good. He's got the Yonk. He's able to sit there and just, you know, get in the middle of them, pop it, and get up in his ultimate because he realizes he just got rap ultimate by Anubis and then get away. But he got his Ankh off.
Got the Ankh off. Took 2 on her autos and an Anubis kit for 90%, but he got the Ankh.
That's all that matters. Speaking of getting off, the Phoenix on the side of the Killer Kappas over in the dual lane ends up respawning. The last fire minion wave gets pushed out. As two teams are getting over here, grouping up for this next fire giant, maybe hoping to get a pick. The Killer Kappas are pushing up with this Mulan. It's all about what it was last time. Get your wards up. Whoever's grouping, whoever's able to get these picks, and maybe we might see a little bit more of a 5v fight this time.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I'm really liking in the builds is seeing the Ganesha go ahead and pick up that bubble.
Well, you recognize your one member who is able to get picked off easily is the Ganesha, okay? And a pick at this state in the game, especially on your support, it could be devastating. You know, Vibe Tribe isn't lacking in the DPS department with the Cernanos. If they just pull somebody in, the amount of burst that they can deal with some Baba Pots, getting silenced, knock silence, making sure that nobody comes in, and then Cern just critting them down and just bursting them down. You know, that Ganesh isn't going to last more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't have even minded if instead of the Magi's, he just went for beads as a second relic. Even as a first relic, I wouldn't have minded it. There's just so much possible CC on the Vibe Tribe that they just haven't utilized fully.
Yeah, you know, and especially with the 30% CDR on the Daji, I think I would have wanted to see a little bit more ultimates used.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta figure it's 40%. No, you have the blue mask, you get that extra 10%. So she's probably been sitting at 40 for probably most of the game.
Little caught out, Crouton Crusader ends up ulting away, but it's ulted right back as we see Not Socks just dump Kit on Dipspit. Ganesha still gets pulled by the dodge. He ulted. It looks like a collapse going on by the members of Vibe Tribe as they end up picking up Not Socks on the back end of this fight, and a lot of low HP bars on both sides. Daji unable to find her dash, ends up getting rooted by Bastet. And Best is just going to leap away saying, okay, you know, we got a little bit of poke off. I'm pointing at you, you're pointing at me, and we're just going to walk away from that one. One member dropping on each side.
Yeah, that's a great outcome for Vibe Tribe right now. I mean, we look at the deficit, we're looking at 12,000, and they're still putting up great fights. That's a 1-for-1. That's a damage dealer for a damage dealer. You can't be mad at that.
Definitely to your biggest damage dealer on both sides, in my opinion. You know, you have the Goodness falling on one side, you have the Cern falling on the other side. These are your two characters who in this late game are going to probably apply the most amount of damage over the quickest period of time, as we see the Mulan ultimate going in on her, jumping in, targeting Itzakor, and it looks like Daji hits ISO. Is going to fall on the back end and not a big deal. And the Killer Kappas are on the onslaught chasing down. Not a big deal. Ends up picking 2 as he finds Itzakor, looking for 3, but it looks like it's going to be Kalo who secures the kill on the Tiny Giant.
Yeah, just Killer Kappa saying, we have the better health bars here. If we can just push the pedal and Vibe Tribe just keeps backpedaling, we can take this fight. And that's exactly what they do. Just Vibe Tribe, maybe just a little bit too low for a fight, but they still want to keep pressure on that FG, and just absolutely great punish from the Killer Kappas.
3 members down on the side of Vibe Tribe, understanding that Fire Giant is going down. Not a lot of contestation you can do there, especially with the Mulan staring you down, knowing exactly where you are at all times. It is going to get secured away by the Killer Kappas. 5 members strong with this EFG, but you do still have 2 towers remaining, and they do still have a weakened Phoenix over on the dual lane side. Not that it'll matter if they shove it down.
Yeah, definitely. This is a great time for the Killer Kappas to really just close this game out, though. You see them, they knock down 2 towers, then they knock down a bird, they grab the Oni Fury. You're in a world of hurt looking at Oni Fire Wave, so Vibe Tribe has to be really careful here. And a great start to that would be picking Crouton Crusader, unfortunately not able to.
A lot of damage coming out on the side of Crouton Crusader. But something that happened there as well is the Baba Yaga beads getting burned defensively very quickly. You know, she popped those beads recognizing that she was in a little bit of danger with the Mulan pluck. That could spell some danger coming up into this next fight if the members of Killer Kappas recognize it. She's going to have to play really safe.
Yeah, as we see an Oni Fury fight starting to break out, don't know if that's necessarily the hill you want to die on. Vibe Tribe as 5 members with EFG go ahead and fill that space for him. Mulan still looking for some action. Tiny Giant not quite able to get in there fast enough to steal. Forces the Sprue.
Yeah, I guess she was a little bit worried about the DPS coming out from Killer Kappas, and so far with how this game's been going, I would be too. I mean, you're 0-8 on this Nox support. Not saying that you're putting yourself in those positions, but the Killer Kappas are making those positions. They are making that pressure to be able to get on top of you and just shut you down and just burst you down and remind you that you're a mage.
Yeah, no matter how many protection items you build, you are just still a mage, and you will fall, especially when you're out of position, which the Basta is certainly capable of doing.
Man, just the 3 over the wall from the Anubis right there just brought... Okay, well... And the ultimate from the Anubis ends up bringing down Daji's the rest of her health bar as the Killer Kappas are now marching into the Phoenix. Frenzy gets popped over on the side of the Killer Kappas, and Vibe Tribe is on the back foot. 1 HP comes to Cernunnos. Noxiox ends up picking up a double kill because Sun Wukong was a little bit deep in the back line. Some low HP bars on the side of Killer Kappas, but they are marching into this Titan room even with 2 towers remaining.
Yeah, 2 towers remaining. Looking to get into this Titan room, but the health bars just aren't cooperating. EFG needs to put in some overtime here, as they are unfortunately forced to back off.
Yeah, they recognize, okay, we're not going to be able to end right here. Let's clean up these 2 towers, and hopefully first let's get away with our lives here, as the Vibe Tribe members are thinking that they can get a pick here. Let's not bit lazy back right now, Crouton Crusader. That's going to spell some trouble. Ends up getting away. No problem. I dare you going, hey, let's not lazy back here. We have a commanding lead. We have a EFG. Let's make sure we clean up our towers.
Yeah, definitely going to be easier to knock down the rest of those towers. Already did see that one in mid lane fall to those Oni waves. So they only have that 1 remaining. They can go ahead, grab themselves a Pyro Bomb, and then look to siege yet again.
I love the look of support players on the map. When you see a member of your team just doing something a little less with their brain, I would say, not using it as well as they could, and then the support kind of just looks over and goes, what are you doing? Why are you here?
Crusader in a really
what are
bad
you doing?
spot.
Why are you here? Yeah, Crouton Crusader. What are you doing? Why are you here? You're at the enemy team speed buff and all 5 are strong. EFG goes down on you, but it's going to be going down for the rest of your team members very shortly, but you're not going to be alive for this early Fire Giant fight.
Yeah, there it is, EFG gone off of everybody, but that's just unfortunate. You just gets hit. A little bit of CC from the Nox. Daji lands the ultimate, and unfortunately just not quite in time to get the Mulan ult to negate that CC.
Vibe Tribe needs to gas pedal right now at this Fire Giant pit. They need to take advantage of the fact that Killer Kappas are down a man. They need to take advantage of the fact that she's not going to have teleport right away if they know the timer or not. And they need to shove it down.
Yeah, it's just so hard to push into them. We're still looking at, you know, what's that, a 17k lead? It's tough to fight into that. We're looking at, you know, full builds. We're starting to get some potions. It's just tough to be able to pull that trigger as we do see those fire waves starting to march on left.
Stare down over here at the tier 2 tower. They did get the bubble on the Ganesha. I'm wondering if that could be their pick condition as we see them marching up, but you know, you took a little bit too long and those fire waves are already pushing back into your dual lane.
Yeah, already starting to approach that throne room as Mulan starts to approach the EFG. This is going to be a hard one for Vibe Tribe to defend.
Ooh, 2 members end up backing over on the side of Vibe Tribe and Killer Kappas. I think they recognize that as they have picked up this Fire Giant, brought it down to half health already, brought it down to a quarter already, and it's gone. Just gone. You know, you get the Frenzy, you get the Ganesha ult over the top of it. They didn't even use the Frenzy, never mind. They just melted it. You know,
yeah, they used on her Anubis and Ganesha ult, some of the greatest shredding ults in the game.
Just, what do you do?
Just the speed it goes down. Nobody's even able to react. You blink, you miss it. It went from half health to no health. And that is Killer Kappas with a Phoenix down, pushing.
I'm Killer Kappas right now. I'm looking at that dual lane Phoenix that's about to respawn. I want to apply pressure across the map, but mostly apply pressure to that lane. Get that weakened Phoenix, ensure that we keep the pressure in that lane, and maybe pinch from both sides of the map right here.
Yeah, I don't mind them looking to put a little bit of that pressure into the right lane. They can force with that last fire wave coming out. Can use that to kind of force down that Phoenix by themselves, or at least, you know, force somebody to back to deal with it. So I'd love to see them maybe make a little bit of use out of that, but looks like they have just a little bit too much gold in the pockets.
Killer Kappas deciding to take a little bit slow down. We'll get some items online. We'll push as a unit. You know, still I can see a good defense coming out from the Vibe Tribe. You have this Baba Yaga who is putting up numbers. You know, she's a late game Baba Yaga. She has a penetration. She has a Soul Reaver. She's going to be doing percent health damage, percentage penetration. You know, dropping that ultimate in the middle of a team fight. Maybe they can get a pick on this Ganesha to start off the fight, or just any member, you know, to boot. It's going to be a little bit difficult moving in, but I don't see it as impossible.
No, definitely. They have a ton of great anti-siege tools. I mean, we could see a defensive Dajil pull in, you know, 2-3 members there. They're on top of a Nox puddle. There's a Cernal. All of a sudden, everybody's just CC'd for a year. Everybody dies. Like, there's so many opportunities for Vibe Tribe to weather this storm.
Last time we saw this Phoenix push, we saw some very unfortunate Anubis abilities from over the wall, shooting from the hip. We see the Phoenix getting absolutely chunked down. Daji goes up in the air, Ganesha comes out on top of it, and it looks like Daji unable to pull anybody in. Easycore falls on the back line to the on her, and 5 members of Killer Kappas are pushing into the Titan room yet again, but this time with health bars, so maybe a little bit less now. Baba Yaga ends up getting as much poke damage as Young. Notsox ends up picking up the Daji as they go, and that Titan health bar is falling down, but not too fast. Notsox picks up a second and low HP bars across the board on the side of the Killer Kappas. They're forced out of the Titan room again.
Forced out of the Titan room for now. I mean, Notsiox only needs to really hit a wave before he's full health, so gotta respect that. And Nox getting pulled, certainly not a good start to the end here. Not quite on the mark as the Titan does start to take some pressure.
Taking pressure, that Ganesha ult is back. Such a low cooldown. Titan is falling down. 25%, 10%, 5%, and it is gone. But not before the Tiny Giant ends up securing the kill on the Crouton Crusader. And that is game number 1. Crouton Crusader. Sorry. Killer Kappas, the other KK. Vibe.
Close enough, close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Oh, Crouton Crusaders and the Killer Kappas end up taking away game number 1 against Vibe Tribe.
Yeah, just a great game. You know, Killer Kappas just slowly, methodically build their lead. They push where they're ahead. They kind of just hang back where they're not, and they just slowly work at that game. 500, 2,000, 4,000, 7,000, 10,000. They just claw their way up into a really hard to stop lead.
Can you even say you won, though? I mean, your Ganesha doesn't have a single kill.
That
What's
is
up
true.
with that?
Ganesha with no kills, that's pretty cringe.
Unbelievable.
I mean, Nox has a
18
kill.
Kill participation, though. 18 kill participation. That shows you how much this Ganesha was around his teammates at all times. You know, just over 50% of the time. He's sitting over here, getting involved, getting his ultimates off, getting his silences off, popping relics, ensuring his team survives. Good presence on his half. You know, 18 on him, but look at that. 22 kill participation on this Bastet. Talk about somebody who was really taking a commanding lead. You know, sure, Notsiox was getting a lot of his little solo picks as we see this 16-3 on the Anubis, but not a big deal. You know, moving around, getting that pressure across the map and really applying it and showing just what this character can do. A lot of mobility on the Bastet, a lot of pick potential.
I just want to point out that Baba did 43k. Not even close.
A unit. I told you. You know,
that god is just so much free damage. You throw out your ult and you do like 4k damage in a fight. It's so ridiculous.
Let's see what kind of adjustments come about in game number 2 as we're going to move into a little bit of a transition here. We'll see you guys in Picks and Bans in game number 2 shortly. Welcome back with game number 2, Vibe Tribe versus Killer Kappas. I'm Zach Vexel. Joining me still is Ruler of Men. Now, after a very long, hard fought 40+ minute game, honestly, very back and forth. I'm wondering what kind of adjustments we're going to see coming out from both teams because I don't think any one team was out of it during that entire 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was like an incredibly one-sided game, and I don't necessarily think that the ban strategy has to change too much. I mean, are you really going to ban an Anubis early? Like, there's just some things where it's like, they're just other gods that I can't let through. So definitely going to be interesting to see how these picks and bans go out.
Well, I mean, so far I feel like I'm seeing deja vu here. I'm pretty sure I've seen all of these before. Maybe it was game one. We see
Sure,
the
maybe.
there's a new one.
Oh.
All right. So not much else to talk about the other ones, but Thor removed from the table. We didn't see him at all in game number one at all. He wasn't picked, he wasn't banned, and maybe Vibe Tribe has a kind of an idea for their game plan that Thor could throw a thorn in the side of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, having that semi-global ultimate, having that wall can certainly be troublesome, as we see the last ban come out exactly the same with that Izanami. Only ban different is Thor for Pele.
Yeah, 5 out of 6. Close enough.
Hmm.
So the question is, are they planning on taking the Pele? No, they want the Anubis for themselves right now. They are hovering that over, and honestly, I don't blame them. That character was dealing so much single target damage, applying so much pressure, getting beads on cooldown from members of the Vibe Tribe. Let's take that for ourselves, and then we'll see how you respond to it. But it does leave this Raijin available for the Killer Kappas.
Yeah, Raijin's just incredibly strong right now. Is he in solo? Is he in mid? Regardless, he has plenty of damage, plenty of CC with that ultimate. Just probably one of the best gods in the game right now. Probably top 5.
Top 5. Interesting. You throw out the Raiju and you just let that absolutely spread. And he does damage now on his own. But,
Why does it do damage on throw?
I
It
can
didn't need it.
see an argument for it because it's like, you have that similar aspect of Opwash. You press S2, what does it do? Really, not much of anything. You come up with it. I love getting kills with the Opwash too, by the way, because of that. So, you got this ability that requires the use of other abilities. I can see an argument being made to deal damage with it, but you tone down some of his other numbers at the same time. Probably not because of how much this god wasn't out of favor for so long. But at the same time, you're adding damage in an area that didn't have it before. You're changing kind of a fundamental part of an ability.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see how far into the meta he's come after, his buffs, nerfs, and just that change in general. I mean, he's always been one of those volatile gods though, where if he gets one nerf, he's out of the meta, and he gets one buff, he's the top of the meta. So it's nice to see him finally have his niche where even if his numbers get tweaked, he's not just instantly out.
I think the last time I did see this god was back in season 5. So it has been that long,
Mm-hmm.
since he was running the meta as one of the top pick, top bams. We do see a Pele come out over on the side of Killer Cap as being their top pick. It wasn't banned away, so they figured they'd take it for themselves, but I'm not too sure how I feel about picking a Pele into an Anubis. You're this character who wants to get in there and get in the face of the opponent and burst them down before they can do anything to you, but Goobis is going to look at you and go, okay, well, you're in my face. Or am I in your face? How is this going to go? One of us is going to one shot the other one. Cernanos ends up getting locked in on the side of the Vibe Tribe again. They liked how it looked, and honestly, so did I. I think this pick was really showing its true colors. They were able to lock down a single target, deal a lot of single target damage. Now with the Anubis on top of it, I feel like if the Vibe Tribe can lock onto one person and move from the same target to the next target and so on and so forth through a team fight, they're going to shred down anyone that they come in contact with. Tira ends up finishing out the picks on the side of the Vibe Tribe. Just aggressive. I'm going to force relics. I'm going to get in your face. I'm going to be a nuisance. Ymir ends up finishing out over on the side of the Killer Kappas, saying, I'm not going to let you get in our face. I'm not going to let you isolate targets. And we're going to see how that goes. Couple bands flying out back and forth. If the Ganesh get taken off the table, you don't want a character who's going to stop your Pele from doing whatever she wants. You already have the Anubis. He's going to prevent you with a wrap. Let's not add silence on top of that. and on her getting banned out from over on the side of the Vibe Tribe. I guess they liked how it looked and don't want that 1v1 potential in lane to happen again.
Yeah, definitely on her. Just really good at those 1v1s. Did great work last game. I don't mind banning him in the second phase. The Ymir, though, I do like. I mean, we look at 3 gods, both backliners. Nobody's getting over that wall by themselves. They need a phantom or they just get destroyed in the jungle by walls.
Oh yeah, you just wall off your targets, and what are they? The only one who could really do anything is a tier ultimate going away. But when was the last time you see a tier ultimate away from anybody?
I mean,
This
I'll
is a
take it,
W
though.
key only ability.
I'll take it though. My 12-second Ymir cooldown for your 40-second tier cooldown. I'll take that any day of the week.
Right. Daji ends up rounding out the bans on the side of the Killer Kappas. Not too surprised. I think the pick was doing some work. I think there was more that it could have done, though, on top of it. You built the 30% CDR early. What could we have done more to apply that kind of pressure with our ultimates, with just firing off abilities in general? Ishtar rounds out the bans on the side of the Vibe Tribe, a pick that's made its way in and out, but still a very good clearing god in the dual lane. And we see a Heimdall hover on the side of Killer Kappas.
Yeah, Heimdall, not a god that sees too much play. Generally you'll see people that kind of specialize in him almost, where they just play a ton of Heimdall. So a lot of times you see him and they're just experienced Heimdall players. But looking maybe a little bit towards this Martichorus, a little bit of safety mixed with, not as much shred as you might get from a traditional hunter.
Here's what I see too. Okay, so looking over on the side of the Killer Kappas, we're not still certain if that Raijin is going to go over to the solo lane or not, which means this Marty could end up in the middle lane. Bastet gets locked in over on the side of Vibe Tribe. You're going to like the way it looks. I guarantee it. They want to pick it again. They want to see that god get picked up again. And the Sylvanas hover.
Yeah, Sylvanas a little bit of an interesting one here. I mean, if he's able to pull Martichorus or Ymir out of position, it could certainly spell doom. So I don't mind it. It's just, again, like the Ymir, just a tough god to play when you could just get picked so easily with no mobility.
Yeah, I see it as a character who will look at the dive coming out of Killer Kappas with this kind of Pele alone right now, and we'll be able to neutralize that. But what else is this god going to be able to bring to the table? I see another character who's lacking the mobility that this Ymir is going to be able to take advantage of and might end up just getting picked himself.
Yeah, definitely. Sylvanas, if you're hitting pulls, an amazing god. If you're missing them, it's really tough to deal with. You're just almost walking XP. All you have is really your ultimate to peel people off. As we see the Hades lock in.
Hades ends up finishing out the draft on Killer Cap as another character who just wants to get in there and just be a nuisance. Honestly, I'm not too sure how this one's going to go for both teams. It's looking kind of interesting. I see a very pick-oriented style draft over on the side of the Vibe Tribe. You want to displace somebody with tier, maybe for some beads. You want to ult somebody away with the best and get their beads. You want to wrap somebody with the Anubis and get their beads. You want to pull somebody with the Sylvanas, root them out, get their beads, kind of stuff. And then you look over on the side of the Killer Kappas and not too much in terms of synergy, but I can see how it's going to work for them. You get in there with the Hades, you be enough of a disturbance, maybe split some people off with the Ymir, and then just kind of kip dump with your Raijin, Martichorus, and Pele comes in to clean up the fight. A little bit more, I think, team fight oriented, where the Killer Kappa side, they need to play a little bit more together with this team comp. The Vibe Tribe has a few more options in their pocket for how they want to initiate this.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think you kind of nailed it on the head, calling the Killer Kappas more of a team fight oriented comp? Get a lot of work done, get the Hades, kind of play as a suicide front line, just get in there, force relics, get some damage off, and then you have the 2 massive CC immune ultimates coming out of the death from above with the Martichorus, as well as the Tycho drums with the Raijin just being CC immune, putting out damage, putting out CC.
Here's what I'm worried about, though. If we don't see optimal anti-heal come out over on the side of Killer Kappas, as we saw a little bit in this last game, a little bit late on the anti-heal on the side of the Vibe Tribe when they saw this Anubis. The Hades is just going to turn into a death tower. You know, you're going to go up in your ultimate. Okay, well, I'm going to go in my ultimate and stare at you. And what's going to happen? Whose health bar is going to get diminished first? You know, and maybe I'm healing, maybe you're healing. Who's going to out heal who? Who's going to out DPS who?
Yeah, definitely going to need to be seeing anti-heal coming out of both of these teams, realistically. I mean, Sylvanas, Anubis, Hades, Pele, just so much, so many gods that just want to heal. So definitely going to need to see a little bit more prioritization on that anti-heal.
I think Vibe tried made some interesting calls with their draft in this game as some adjustments. I think Killer Kappas made some interesting adjustments with their draft as well. So, what lane do you want to push it down? You know, I see just quite a few options. You have good clear potential over in the dual lane. You got good clear potential over in the mid lane. And then you got that pressure potential over in the solo lane, having this warrior into a mage. I mean, it is Hades. He's going to be able to kind of dash away if he uses his dash correctly. Maybe if once you realize how he's going to be using his dash, that's where we're going to decide to pressure. But until then, we're going to find out. So we're going to jump on in here to game number 2, Killer Kappas versus Vibe Tribe. So we're seeing where these picks are lining up, and it looks like Sylvanas is not a chef, and now he is.
Oh, he was just getting out of base nice and quick. He was doing some scouting, getting that nice early ward down.
Getting an early ward down? Was he being a friendly neighborhood Sylvanas and getting people their mana farms?
Could have been that too.
I don't see one in mid lane. What's up with that?
Yeah, mid doesn't need it. He'll be alright.
I suppose Sylvanas don't start their 1 anymore now that the 2 can damage minions, so... Anubis doesn't need first items around here, it would look like.
Yeah, he's more worried about getting ganked as he picks up that chalice of the Oracle. You know, this is the most valuable time for it. He's never going to buy a ward.
Yeah. You never have
to he's not buying a ward. Pure profit. Huh. You know, the earlier you get it, the more valuable it is. But he's getting max value out of it, coming straight out of the base with it.
Kind of speechless, I'll be honest. I mean, he was ganked pretty interesting, pretty early on in that last one. But yeah, I don't know what to say. You know, you're lacking power now. You really got to focus on clearing these waves and playing it safe, because it looks like it's ISO is just gonna apply the pressure for you and let you clear the wave, and he's gonna get the poke damage off.
Yeah, I mean, is he lacking damage? I mean, Anubis at the end of the day,
he's Anubis.
He does too much damage.
Yeah, he's Anubis. I better see top ward Anubis though at the end of the game. I better see it. You know, you're picking up this chalice right at the start of the game. Where you place them, have that thing on cooldown 24/7. And look at that,
a guy like me,
Raijin Pele.
Mm-hmm. You just have to respect the Anubis. What if you get wrapped? I don't want to get wrapped. What if Pele gets wrapped? What does she do? Cry? She just blink. There ain't nothing you can do about it.
You got that pressure over in the mid lane, but Killer Kappas have quite an aggressive comp over here in the dual lane, as we see this Ymir and Marticourse just shoving it down already, getting the Cernanos to 1 HP, and the jungles are making the rotation over for the for shield buff. Yeah,
that's looking to get a little bit done, but with the Killer Kappas squad in the dual lane rotating over, gonna have to just back off that one. Seeing a little bit of aggression coming out, but not gonna really be able to do too much with it.
Unable to find that Pele, as we see Bastet making her way around, and Pele a little bit interested in getting the gank. She just saw that Cernanos uses dash, but unable to close the gap. Wanted to hold on to the blink, ended up using it now, as the Sylvanas might end up just getting caught out. Speaking of getting caught out, it looks like Sylvanas will end up falling, but not before Natsiax falls in mid lane to the Goobis. We'll let you have your fun last game with this Anubis, but we're going to show you exactly what it tastes like now.
All I'm saying, he didn't need that item.
Didn't need that item.
I told you he didn't need the item. He's fine. He's just Anubis. If you just hit a wrap, they lose health. It's magical.
This is tech right here. You know, who needs these early game items? Just follow up with your teammate, land a wrap, burn their HP bars. At the end of the day, you're still just shredding people, and it's level 5 before his opponent. Clearly, he knows something we don't know.
just gets that level 5 nice and before that Raijin. Doesn't have to use the ult to do it, but
Normally,
Hades in a
I
little bit of
like
trouble
the
here.
Hades
Level
coming in
4,
for the gank.
no
But he
mana.
doesn't have any mana. Yeah, you know, Hades, you're never gonna out-secure Hades any day. But you're not getting away now, buddy. You're a mage early. You're getting in there a little too deep. You know, you don't secure the buff. You end up losing your life as a result. And Raijin making a rotation over the blue buff might end up just getting...
Understandable. We trade 1 for 1.
That
It's fine.
sucks was kind of upset. You know,
Come on.
lost his life early.
Good taunts coming out. Not gonna have quite enough damage. Good Fearless comes out. Ult away. Dodges the volcanic eruption. And that is an unfortunate survival for Izakor, if you are a Killer Kappas fan.
Excuse me, Mr. Tier, that was a W key only ability that you just used, and unfortunately it was not W keying.
Gonna have to revoke your tier card for that one.
Yeah. You
It's
lost
tough.
your warrior brain card. Your
Welcome to support, where we use our brains 10% of the time instead of 0% of the time.
10% of the time we use 100% of our brains. Wait, no, not even that.
10% of the time we use 25% max.
25 max. Team's kind of returning over to farm. A little bit of a poke war going on in the dual lane. Securing that shield buff as teams are just kind of getting some farm online. Gooba's finally getting an item too. You know, that's good. You know, starting to build into this Bancrofts. I'm sure he knows too. Once he gets that Bancrofts, he's late game already.
He's caught up in the build too. You can't fault him. Tier 2 for tier 2. He's dead even.
Not worried in the slightest. Yeah. A little bit of a poke war going on, but no real poke end up happening as that shield buff is on the belt of the Manticoras. Good wall. Members split up over on the side of Vibe Tribe, and you know, I am noticing a 2-level gap over here in the supports.
Yeah,
Well, about
Sylvanas
a level and a half.
definitely struggling getting that, you know, death over there nice and early. Definitely putting him down some farm. Probably lost about 2 waves if I had to guess. Plus, you know, Ymir, Marticoris just getting those shield camps, really just pushing him out of getting farm.
A 1k gold lead so far, Killer Kappas. Let's see if they can keep up that pressure and extend it the way that they did in game number 1. I honestly think, coming around first beacon, it was only about 2 to 3k. So I don't expect to see too much action in the coming minutes until these objectives start spawning on the map.
Yeah, definitely. It was really, like, the first rotation was, like, 800, 1,000 gold, then at 12-minute mark, looking at, I think it was about 2,500, so just slow, methodical play, and they're already starting to build their lead in this game.
So we were talking about anti-heal. It looks like both junglers opting for the Jotuns.
Gotta get the Jotuns first.
Oh yeah. Get that CDR online. A successful invade coming off from Killer Kappa is able to steal away that blue buff, and that's gonna hurt this tier. But it looks like its ISO doesn't want to let them get away with it. He's just going for an invade of his own. Unsuccessful. Does expend the blink, and it looks like not a big deal. Might just want to say it's a little bit of a big deal that he came into his jungle, but well, everybody's walking away. Vibe Tribe a little not as happy as the Killer Kappas are, but
No, definitely not as happy. At least, you know, the tier starting to build into that defense item. It does have the MP5 on it, so gonna be able to sustain a little bit without that blue, but certainly not feeling good about it. Ooh. Unfortunately out of range for the Death Gaze. Taking a little bit of damage, but nothing too significant.
Can you say you hate to see it?
I hate to see that.
You hate to see it. Shell does get popped on iDairy, but it is not enough. Oh no, the pull out of the Anubis abilities ends up pulling the Paley in, but the dot ends up securing it. Its ISO ends up picking up a double kill here in the mid lane.
That double dot is brutal. Sylvanas dot plus the Bastet dot. She probably could have had a quarter of her health left and still died to a tick. That's brutal.
It's only going to get worse from here. Once they start getting some power items online, and it looks like Soul Eater is going the route of the Pele. I'm wondering if the Bastet is going to go the same route. They did that last game where they went the Soul Eater build. what, 30% CDR, a little bit of percentage penetration. The Anubis gets a wrap off over here and expends the beads of the Raijin in the mid lane. Notsucks definitely feeling the wrath of this Anubis this time.
Yeah, definitely getting some of his medicine thrown right back to him. Ooh, wow. Maybe playing into Anubis isn't fun. Maybe I do just sit under tower. Certainly not happy about it. Just like, man.
Guess
So
there's a
Anubis
reason
hurt.
this was not picked, yeah.
Man,
I suppose.
this isn't fair. Why does he get to do it?
Mom said it's my turn on the Anubis.
Yeah, definitely. This Anubis getting a lot more value than I would have thought, you know? Me personally, I think like, Anubis, you get looked at, you die, but if you're not able to get that, anti-heal off, as neither of these jungles are building into that beat stick second item.
I've been sitting here one-tricking Anubis in my ranked games and just winning. Constantly. It doesn't matter. I'll play this god in mid. I'll play it over in solo lane. I'll play it in the jungle. I'll play it in support. You can...
I respect it.
I have
He needed money for an item. He got his gold.
I have words to say, but it's like, so he's gonna end up falling over after getting a pick himself on the ADCs, and it looks like not a big deal. Wanting more is going to end up just barely getting away. Wow. Double-digit HP, Dipspit ends up just getting away with his life.
And on the other side of the map, Izakor gets a solo kill onto Crouton's Crusader.
Izakor saying the warrior brain mentality is gone but not lost. Ends up running down his lovely mage counterpart.
So maybe he's more of an S key tier, Instead of running at them, you just run them into your tower.
Is that just S key? W key in reverse S key at that point?
You're going backwards, not forwards. You might have turned around to go forwards while you're going backwards, but
Okay, so imagine a
right,
tier dash, but it's omnidirectional like Thoth dash, where he's just going backwards, hitting you. I would hate my life. I would hate my life.
Well, imagine how often you would miss it too, because those abilities are so janky. Oh, let me use my Rama. Oh, I went forward. Oh. So many times have I played Rama, and it's just like, the game has decided you are dead.
A little bit of anti-synergy coming out from the support mid lane on the Vibe Tribe side. It's ISO didn't want to let it get away, but I dare wanted to ensure that Notchucks did get away on this Raijin pick. Man, they're really applying the pressure here in this mid lane.
Yeah, it's just so hard to exist in this mid lane. You have to worry constantly about, is get that critter just going to hit a wrap and I need to press beads or die? So we see a great gank come out. Good knock up.
Oh. It was good ultimate patience on the side of Dipspit, but it wasn't enough. The Pele is end up able to just come in with a nice clean gank. Good synergy. You saw the Pele come in. She got her blink off and immediately up in the air. Win KLO on this Martichoras, immediately pumping out damage as they were knocked up in the air. Get that critter, ends up getting his beads popped as he trades ultimates with the Raijin and tries to poke with the Ymir.
Yeah, unfortunately for one of those characters, that poke is a little bit more permanent. Ymir not going to be able to heal up with these, 3 lifesteal items that the Anubis already has, as we see the Stygian Beacon come up.
Okay, so you're playing the tier solo. You're looking at this Hades, knowing that you're going into a mage. I'm almost wondering, do you go the blink, or do you go the TP?
That's a tough one. I mean, you have so many movement abilities to get away from the Hades ult. I think that you can kind of afford not to go the beads and just grab that TP. And then, save what you want to do for later.
No, the blink. The blink.
You don't always need blink. Oh, blink.
Always need blink. Yeah, going in.
Nah, you don't need none of that.
Gold Fury pulled over by Vibe Tribe, but it does not go unrecognized. The killer Kappas are hot on the trail with the Martichoras, but it looks like one member is not going to be enough to stop the Gold Fury from getting taken by Vibe Tribe. a successful Gold Fury play, just no vision. Look at the vision on the side of Vibe Tribe on this side of the jungle. You know, you got sentries over on the back of the Gold Fury pit. You got wards over on the mid lane side. 5 members moving around in the mid lane by Killer Kappas, but just such a rotation. But they want the Pyromancer, it looks like.
Are looking for the Pyromancer, but it's certainly not going to be free as we start to see Vibe Tribe congregate around. They understand that it's going on, but are they going to be able to stop it?
They are 5 members strong. I don't know if it's going to be as easy, and it looks like Killer Kappas will end up securing it. Anubis Ult gets popped just to show them, hey, yeah, I have it. And now I don't, so what are you going to do about it?
Probably nothing. It's tough to get an Anubis when he's fully out of range.
He's just saying, yeah, look at my ability. Isn't it pretty? I like the skin too. I thought that Sylvanas pull. A little bit of a poke trade going on, and during that entire time of the 5-man rotation, the Cernanos over here, Dipspit just recognizing it, shoving down the mid tier 1, I'm sorry, the dual lane tier 1 tower and dropping it as well. Applying a lot of pressure in that lane and able to just catch himself back up.
Yeah, catches himself back up, gives him a little bit more pressure. Marty's going to be a little bit easier to gank now if the Bastet is going to look on that side of the map, so getting those tier 1s down are just so strong.
Yeah, you don't have the safety of your tier 1 tower. They're definitely winning the ward game over here on this side of the map. You're also double stacking as the Martichoris. What are you going to do?
Press 4 and hope that you can trade damage faster.
Please, 4 button, just survive.
It's like, you know, when 5 people gank you and you're playing Rama. I'm going to go in the sky and hope for the best. Maybe my team gets here, maybe I'm just dead.
You're just hoping that, yeah, you survive long enough in the air. Your Rama, your Chernobog, maybe I can just sit up here long enough and they'll go away.
They'll forget about me. Where'd he go? Oh, he back to base. Don't worry about it.
You see a slight grouping over here in the solo side jungle, but I don't think Fire Giant's going to be the play for either of these teams anytime soon. Very even game so far. Very even game. Very back and forth as well. You know, we see 2K. And it's in the favor of Vibe Tribe this time. It was earlier Killer Kappas who took that early lead with the early pressure that they had, but Vibe Tribe just kind of pulling it back and just going back and forth across the center line.
Yeah, Vibe Tribe has that great play. They grab both objectives, and then they didn't grab both objectives. What am I talking about?
You okay?
No.
Okay, all right.
No thoughts. Head empty. Call me a solo laner. Ain't nothing going on up there.
Monday blues. Pushing into this enemy blue buff invade as we see 3 members end up securing it away in a beautiful, that's why I said the blink. Beads come out from the Hades, unable to get a dash away and ends up losing his life.
Yeah, both Sitting Duck ultimates are used. See the Hades and the Ymir self-rooting themselves there, getting into a little bit of danger. Ymir getting a little bit big for his britches. He doesn't have that tier 1 tower to rely on, and with tier on this flank, it could spell disaster.
Could spell disaster, but not before Notsox ends up spelling disaster. Fighting its ISO over here, just shoving it down, and it looks like Ymir is the next target. Just out of range of the wrap, and Pele is here. Landed exactly where that ultimate was going. Not sure if it was intentional, but it worked out. You know, we'll say it was intentional. Not a big deal. Calculated ultimate
we take those
on this Pele. Absolutely.
Was it intentional? Was it an accident? We take those.
Oh yeah, calculated.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he's dead. I'm alive.
Oh man, it looks like that is going to slow down the push on the solo lane by Vibe Tribe. They're going to secure up a little bit of pressure over here, get their ward vision down. Second beacon is ready, and it looks like Dipspit was in the area. Might as well get it while I'm here. Set up the beacon, maybe push down this mid tower, maybe look towards this Oni Fury that just recently spawned. As we see the very nice grouping coming out from Vibe Tribe here in the mid lane.
Let's see. ADC, I'm going to go back to my lane and get some farm. I'm not level 20 yet. I'm not doing nothing.
I can't play game, guys. Not level 20. Go back to lane.
Not level 20, not full build. I gotta go back farming. Sorry.
Return to farm. Goobus unable to pick up his red buff, as it seems that he has a different buff around his waist. And it looks like Ymir getting pinged out over here on this Pyromancer's Pele. Setting up over on the Gold Fury side, but Oracle Vision's gonna let them know no matter what goes on over here.
Yeah, I do have the oracles to give them that vision. Nobody going to be able to secure vision over that too easily. As we do see the Killer Kappas grouping pretty significantly on it.
Yeah, they want a pick right here. They want to create this kind of pressure, recognizing that it's a 4v3. The Anubis still pushing the middle lane. He's going to show up late into this fight. Gold Fury down to 25% HP. Bastet does come out, ends up getting in. The Killer Kappas end up securing the Gold Fury, but it looks like Vibe Tribe doesn't want to let it go for free, as they are chasing down the members of Killer Kappas. Anubis gets topped on this. Marticoris ends up getting caught by Isakor, who's tier fearless. Beads expended. What are you going to be able to do when that god gets on top of you?
Not too much. Marty into tier. Nothing you can do but pray he dies before you do, and that is unfortunately not the case with a full health tier.
You didn't have that magic 4 button.
He did not. Didn't have the magic 4 button. Didn't have the magic you can't do anything to me buttons. But unfortunately, he does fall there. Hades putting out a ton of damage.
Good beads coming out and is able to get away with his life, even when contesting 3 members of Vibe Tribe here in the mid lane. And it looks like the tier 2 tower over in the dual lane did end up falling.
Yeah, it does fall to the combined efforts of get that critter and dip spit. You know, both both damage dealers really said, we'll make it work.
I'm sure they will. I'm still not seeing... Okay, so is Brawler's Beat Stick just not an item anymore?
Not in these games, apparently. I'd love to see the anti-heal, but these junglers a little bit too greedy for it. I need a little bit more damage. I need a little bit more burst.
I feel like it has good damage numbers, though.
It does.
You know? Yeah.
It's got more power than Jotun's.
Oh, well, yeah. You know, anything has more power than Jotun's. What is it, 30?
Golden Blade.
Golden, yeah, I guess. 35. I was close.
Oboe.
Yeah, Oboe has 40% attack speed, though, and you get the zip zap autos. We can't miss that.
True.
Yeah.
That's practically more DPS than Jotun's anyway. Let's be real.
You could just stand there, hit something, could hit anything, and then those chain autos are just going to go to the entire enemy team. I love doing that around objective fights where you're just sitting there auto-attacking the objective. Speaking of auto-attacking the objective, it looks like Pyromancer is going to get picked up by the Vibe Tribe. Not going to be able to commit as the members of Killer Kappas are hot on it. Little bit of a displacement on the Ymir, ends up losing half of his health bar, pops the late Ankh and is just trying to get away with his life, pops the shell as well, and incoming into the back line is a combo of Crouton Crusader, and not a big deal as they collapse on that Anubis. Idari does end up falling as a result, and it looks like unable to get away is now Tsiax as Dipspit has made the rotation into the back line, and 4 members strong is the Vibe Tribe. Ends up finding Crouton Crusader, not going to be able to dash away too far, tries to get the silence off, but and it looks like he does end up falling still as well. Crouton Crusader falls, its ISO ends up picking up another kill, and now the members of Vibe Tribe are looking towards the Fire Giant.
Great call coming out. Tyr uses the teleport to go ahead and get over there, stop the Marty, make sure he's not going to get that tier 2 tower, look for that Phoenix while they're on this Fire Giant. They get their 3 picks there, and they go straight for their Fire Giant. Not burning it quite as fast as they might like to, but I think they will have enough time to get it down before it is contested.
You got the DPS from the CERN here. You got the DPS from your Bastet here. So long as Sylvanas doesn't eat too much himself, he might end up coming up the back end of a Paleo, but yeah, she decided to just get some jungle farm.
Yeah, Sylvanas looking, you know, right at that 80 health mark. Good break point to get out of the FG pit. Couldn't have tanked any more damage if you wanted to, so good awareness there, getting out just in time.
Fire Giant on 5 members here of the Vibe Tribe. Reset if you have to. Come on. Clean up some of these objectives spawning on the map. You know, you got the Pyromancer still up. You got Beacon spawning. You got the Gold Fury spawning. Clean up these towers. Take that gold lead from a 3k to a 4k, 5k, 6k. Easily a 10k with this Fire Giant if they play it right.
Yeah, definitely. If they're able to secure those objectives out. Great pick onto the Marty, forces the beads. Huntress of Bast expended. However, beads Aegis forced on the Raijin off of a great wrap into Death Gaze, and that is unfortunate. Killer Kappa is going to have a much harder time defending without those relics.
Both carry relics down. You know, you lost the beads on both carries. You lost the Aegis on your Raijin on top of it, and now his ultimate. You're not defending this tier 1 tower in mid. I don't even think you defended it with those relics, you know? The members of Vibe Tribe are going to get ready. They're looking down, foaming at the mouth right now, and are going to opt for the Pyromancer.
Gonna look for the Pyromancer, but not sure if that's necessarily the right play. It is the play they're making, though, so you can't argue with it too much. Marty, in a world of hurt, tear on him, hits the good Fearless into a great knockup from Sylvanas. Hades putting in so much damage, 4 members trapped. Unfortunately, not enough.
Yeah, getting collapsed on right there with the Marty chorus. Just, you don't have the beads. You popped your Aegis. The fight is continuing right now because the members of Vibe Tribe are wanting more, but they are definitely getting way more. The Killer Kappas, this is what the Pele does. Come in a little bit late to the fight, no problem. Let me just clean up. I see low HP bars across the board. I'm going to ult in. I'm just going to just decimate these members. And now it's a chase down. You got the movement speed of the Pele plus a speed buff. Blink out, no problem. Okay, you're still a Bastet at the end of the day.
Yep, still have the jump, still have the blink. Going to be able to manage to get out of there. And that was a great fight from Killer Kappas. Yeah, sure, you lose the Pyro, but at what cost? Crouton Crusader, like I was talking about earlier, does a great job. Gets in there, trades his life for damaged relics, and no big deal, just not a big deal, not no big deal. Goes ahead and just grabs those picks at the end of it. Great work.
You know, you lose Fire Giant on 3 members here. You completely shut down the push from Vibe Tribe. What did they get off of it? A beacon and a Pyromancer and a tier 1 tower. All right. You took that 3k lead to a 5k lead. Big whoop. We're showing you that we're still in this game. Very close. You're not going to be running away with it, getting up those objectives like we were saying. I'm seeing a little bit of a back and forth here, and this is going to be some very interesting fights coming up.
Yeah, definitely going to see how Killer Kappas are going to be able to deal with this Anubis, really. This Anubis has been putting in so much work in these fights. Doesn't even always hit the wrap, doesn't matter. It just throws out so much damage. It's so hard to deal with.
Vibe Tribe secures away the Gold Fury, and it looks like the members of Killer Kappas are okay with letting this one happen, as we see Crouton Crusader just kind of pushing down solo lane, forcing out the TP of his solo counterpart. Gonna clean up the jungle, and everybody's just gonna be happy returning to neutral here as we wait for the next Fire Giant to be spawned.
I really just like felt in my soul that Izakor was just annoyed. Just TPs to the tower and just stands there like, really? Really?
He's just like, oh, you're not gonna commit. Come on.
At least fight me over here. Give me something.
You see, you can't have warrior brain if you're not a warrior, right? That's how
That
it
is
works.
true. Hades saying, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need to be inside a tower fighting a tier.
He's gonna just kind of push me under after I dash in, because I'm gonna dash in because that's what I do, and then I'm just gonna be a little too deep at that point. Yeah, forced into the Pillars of Agony. Who knows what'll happen? Then I'll probably just end up dying to tier 2 tower shots because that hurts.
They do hurt.
They Fire Giant moments away from respawning, and not a lot of wards set up right now. We do see a couple on the Vibe Tribe side up in the area. Well, Anubis is definitely doing exactly what I'd hoped. He is topping that ward chart. I hope he keeps it. You know, I mean, you did buy this chalice. But
I mean, he's
now so did your
definitely
Sylvanas.
putting in some work for it. I mean, look at him compared to the Raijin. He was 12 wards up. It was 15 to 3. That's great difference.
Is that thanks to... Oh. Lovely ultimate trade coming out over here, and it's ISO is trying to get away with his life. Will be forced to use the Aegis.
Use of the Aegis. Crouton Crusader, no ult here, but only 2 tanks on him. Not going to be falling too hard just yet. Take that back dip spit for Lube here. Throws out a ton of damage. Lands the polymorph, but just not quite enough. Crouton Crusader just barely getting the distance needed from Idari.
His team is doing everything in their power right now to make sure that he gets away. Idari is like, I am a support. I will trade my life for this. And they want this kill so bad. They're going to get it. But at what cost? It's ISO is going to fall in return, trying to get away. Now is Notsox forced to use the double relics. 4 members strong over here by Vibe Tribe pushing in on this tier 2 tower in the solo lane.
Yeah, Raijin ult used to push them off of it. No minions means no damage coming out, and they are forced to back off of that tower.
Pele doesn't have the ultimate. Raijin doesn't have the ultimate. Raijin doesn't have his relics. Go for the Fire Giant. You know, you're looking at this right now. Okay, we got the Shred ability. We have our Anubis. We have our Cernanos. We have the DPS to do it. But it looks like they're going to opt for the Pyromancer instead, as they do secure that.
It's a good safe option. It's a good middle ground. You get the advantage, but you don't give the enemy an opportunity to capitalize on a missed secure.
Oh,
I can't fault them. I can't fault them.
What are you worried about here? The dot
Marty?
damage from the Raijin? I guess.
They had Marty with relics and ult. Throws down a 1. He goes up into the sky. You can't even stop him from doing damage. Could be a problem.
Could be. Could be. I guess that is what that character loves to tend to do with this mage-style hunter build that we love to see. Does have the fail knot, though. Wants to get some crits off. So
It's just such a good item. It's got a ton of power compared to other hunter items. It's got the cooldown. It's got the pen.
ton of power.
It's just
Same
35
power as
is-
Jotuns.
yeah. It's just better Jotuns.
Yeah, I mean, you got the CDR from Jotuns, but I feel like that's all you're picking Jotuns for. I will only pick Jotuns for the CDR.
Yeah,
If I
but it's
don't wanna
got the
just go
same
more
CDR. It's got power. It's got percent instead of flat. And it's got crit chance. Who don't want crits?
Right.
Got crits for the whole squad. Ymir, you can have a crit. Raijin, guess what? You're critting. Oh, Hades Polyauto? Yep, that can crit.
Halo forced into the ultimate, and it looks like it's ISO is going to be forcing to use his ultimate, trying to get a pick, but just ending up off the mark. A lot of poke damage coming out. Anubis ultimate. That's unfortunate. I feel like if he was on the other side of the wall, that would have been a completely different engage right there. As we see the engage coming out, Bastet goes up, Bastet comes down. They're looking for these picks, low HP bars across the board, and it looks like Notsox is the target of its ISO. But its ISO is the target of Notsox as well. Shutdown on not a big deal. 2 members, both junglers going down, 1 on each side, and this Goobus is 1 HP, ends up falling. Get that critter. Well, you got.
Yeah, Marty on the back end receiving some punishment from this tier. I don't think he's going to have quite enough damage to deal with it, though, as he goes ahead and falls. And that is a great fight from Killer Kappas, coming in from behind a little bit on that fight. I think we're looking at about 6k down at the start, 4k now, and that's a great fight for them.
Oh, yeah. You heal up, you get these objectives back, you know, you got a beacon, you got a gold fury, congrats. We're going to slowly see 3k, 2k. It's anybody's game at this point. You know, 30
definitely.
minutes into.
Just a good fight gets them right back into the game. And Tiny Giant making a misstep here could spell disaster. Getting those respawns timered could be the difference between a fire and not a fire, but not enough health on Idari, not willing to really risk the Primal Fury, and they're going to go ahead and back.
I can see wanting to get this Primal Fury to set up for the Fire Giants because, you know, you're going to be dealing a little bit more damage as a result, but, you know, your only tank having 25% HP going into that makes it kind of difficult. You're going to need some extra strong zoning or just use that as a bait to set up for a Fire Giant kind of thing. You know, maybe we just get some picks here, reset, go over to the Fire Giant, or we just use the picks that we just got, reset, and go to Fire Giant as 5. A lot of ward vision over here on the side of Vibe Tribe, and really a whole lot of none until now by Killer Kappas. Crouton Crusader just trying to clean up some wards, and both teams are just going to look for that kind of target that they can pick off yet again. We do see relics getting back up on both sides, so we're going to have a very hefty fight coming out.
Yeah, it definitely should be a massive fight coming out over on this fire. 3k down coming into it, that is practically insignificant. I mean, pretty much everybody is full build. Get that critter pick. Starts off strong though. Crouton Crusader finding his way to the gray screen. Unfortunately, Hades just doesn't compare to Anubis burn.
You see the mage. You're a squishy. I'm a squishy. The problem is my DPS is just significantly better than you. I'm going to scale so much harder than yours. You know, if you can't silence me, burst me down faster than I can just land a wrap on you, good luck. As we see this Fire Giant HP getting down 25%. Now, this is EFG, and Killer Kappas do not want to let it go lightly as they march in, and they end up securing the Fire Giant away from Vibe Tribe. Ultimates popped across the board from members of Killer Kappas. And it looks like both teams are just going to get away. 4 members wearing the Fire Giant around their belt on the side of Killer Kappas. No way.
Yeah, just not quite enough burn. Don't have the Anubis ultimate to go ahead and burn that down, and people are able to get there in time. Derry pays for it with his life, though. It's ISO falling on the other side. However, looking at a 4v4 EFG on one side, though.
Now, Vibe Tribe pushing down, trying to get something off the back end of this Fire Giant loss. Might end up just securing the Pyromancer, you know, get something to make sure that you stay in this. Because, man, just the amount of team fight ultimates over on the side of Killer Kappas, like we were saying at the start of the game, you know, you have this Pele ultimate, you got the Raijin ultimate, you got the Hades ultimate, you got the Martichorus ultimate. All of these are just big AoE. We're going to create some, you know, you're hitting everything at that point. You're hitting the members of Vibe Tribe, you're hitting the Pyromancer at the same time. I feel like they just needed to, Vibe Tribe needed to get a couple more of the utility off of Killer Kappas before actually committing to that Fire Giant.
Yeah, just so much CC immune damage, just not going to let them do what they want for free. And that's really the struggle that Vibe Tribe is going to come into in this late game. As we see this Primal Fury fight coming out, Vibe Tribe does secure with the Anubis ult, but Vibe Tribe definitely has a problem as we see Sylvanas falling to the gray screen.
Yeah, Tiny Giant walking forward there, trying to peel his team member Zakor, but Zakor's kind of out of there. I mean, he's a tier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets out. Yeah. You know, you don't think about it. He's a tier. He'll be fine.
All 3 carries of Killer Kappas have the EFG buff. Beautiful wall comes out, forcing the Discern to dash away, and it looks like he's just kind of marching in right now. They have eyes on this tier 2 tower, and it looks like that is exactly what they want. Cern ult gets popped, and half the health bar gets thrown out on him as well. Beautiful pick by the Bastet, ends up getting that Martichorus caught out, but a double kill from Nodsox, not a big deal coming in, ends up picking up a 3rd, and they are chasing him down. Unfortunate bees off of a wall.
That's both relics coming out from the Anubis too. This could be the game. Surging forward are the Killer Kappas. Looking at this Titan, and Get That Critter is going to have to pull out a miracle to save this game.
5v1 here in the fountain of the Vibe Tribe as the Killer Kappas are marching in very healthy, and they end up securing the kill on Get That Critter. Now looking at the Fire Giant, Tiny Giant's going to do everything in his power to sit here and get it. He ends up getting 1, almost getting 2, but the Titan does fall for Vibe Tribe. Killer Kappas end up winning the set 2-0.
What a great come from behind win there. They're down. They're still keeping it close, but they're down for the majority of the game. They get 1 steal on the EFG. All of a sudden, they're winning. They're making good fights. They get a couple picks, and boom, the game is over. It's 35-40 minutes. Those timers are just a hair too long.
Once you get up to these 35-40 minute marks in these games, you know, one bad fight could really spell trouble for either team, whether it be a 15k lead, 20k lead, or, you know, in this instance, though, we only saw about a 3k lead. You really got to be playing for your picks. You got to be getting that information, looking to get some poke off, maybe looking for a little bit more of a sloped play, trying to utilize everything in your kit's potential across the board from your gods, because, you know, as we see, you lose that one fight, that is it. That team will just march in with how close this is. It doesn't matter how far down you are.
Yeah, no, you get those respawn timers a little bit too long, a little bit too staggered, and you're just not able to mount a defense against 5.
I think Killer Kappas did a very good job of being able to just work as a team in those instances. You know, like we were saying at the start of the game, coming out of picks and bans, if they're able to team fight very well, this is where this team comp is going to succeed. If Vibe Tribe is able to get picks very well, that is where their team comp is going to succeed. I think both teams did exactly that, exactly what they were supposed to, phenomenally. I just feel like there were some calls made at the end that could have been a little bit more on the side of, okay, you have the comp to get picks, bait them in, get those picks. Don't let the team fight. Otherwise, this is the result.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw some really good fights from Vibe Tribe where they just said, "Oh, Hades is coming in. We're gonna kill him, and then we're gonna win the fight after." If they don't have those team fight ultimates, it's so much easier for this more pick style comp to deal with. So I think that if they just played a little bit slower, a little bit more patient, they could have just gotten their picks, gotten those objectives just a little bit more safely, and taken that game.
Very well fought from both teams here, Killer Kappas and Vibe Tribe. Honestly, two very intense games and one very intense set. Back and forth the entire way. Never felt like either team was out of it, but it looks like the Vibe Tribe is going to come up short right here. Killer Kappas will walk away with a 2-0 W. And that is going to do it for us tonight here at Frank's Retirement Home in the Walker Division. I'm Zach Vexel. Again, joining me tonight was Ruler of Men, and over on The Spectator was Lunar. We want to thank you guys all for coming out and watching us, and we will definitely see you again in the next set. Have a good one.